It has been 19 days since the 4th of July boating crash on Herrington Lake took the life of a young man.
25-year-old Nazar Zaventilazowski died after investigators say a wake boat collided with a pontoon boat. His body was found 2 days later.
Tonight, the family's attorney says their own investigation is still underway as Kentucky Fish and Wildlife continues its investigation too. WKYT's Jackson Plank talked with the family's lawyer for our top story tonight.
What started out as a family celebrating America's 250th birthday on Herrington Lake ended with the loss of a 25-year-old man. And now 2 investigations are working to find out why. Kentucky Fish and Wildlife and the Mercer County Commonwealth Attorney's Office are leading the criminal probe. And on the civil side, attorney Justin Peterson is representing Nazar's family. Over Zoom on Thursday, he tells me he talked with dozens of people in relation to what happened on July 4th.
I've interviewed personally over 50 people who have come forward with information. I have interviewed anyone from eyewitnesses to people who have testimony for things that were going on throughout the day.
Peterson says he wants the criminal investigation to move first before he files a civil lawsuit. Under Kentucky law, he has 1 year from his appointment to file suit. He says the clock is ticking.
Whenever there is a case that has both potential criminal and potential civil aspects to it, as the civil attorney, I do like to see where criminal matters go first. I think it's really important. I think it's important in the public eye that there is some type of criminal accountability held.
Peterson says the family has one goal, and it isn't revenge.
They didn't come to me with vengeance. And some people do. Some people that have suffered tragic losses like this are very vengeful, and I understand. This is not that family. They want answers. We know what happened because of the eyewitnesses, but they want to know why it happened.
Jackson Plank, WKYT.
And Peterson thanks the public for helping with the investigation and for calling for justice.